Welcome to Tuesday with Terry, the podcast for getting your mind, business, and life in shape. Hosted by Terry Blachek, one of the original area developers for Orange Theory Fitness who helped launch the brand from the very beginning. He'll use his years of experience to help you shape up your mind, build strong relationships with your teams, revamp your business processes, and set down the path towards success in all aspects of your life.
Good morning. My name's Terry, and welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terry. I'm excited to be here. We're talking to you live from Austin, Texas, where the sun is hot. It's cooling off a little bit. You know, we're headed into the fall season. It's cooling off a little bit. The barbecue is fantastic, and all the drinks are free over here. Come on over and visit us. We'd love to have you. Be our guest. Be our guest. Got some good things to share with you today is how many of you have what I call a to-do list? You ever make a to-do list, right? And you sit down with a blank sheet of paper and you say to yourself, what's the first thing I have to do today? And you say, well, what's the second thing I've got to do today? What's the third thing and the fourth thing and the fifth thing? And before long, I tell you, you got a pretty good to-do list, right? And so how many of you have ever then gone and started and you look down on that to-do list and you say, which one of these things do I kind of want to get going on first, right? You say, what do I want to start with? Where do I want to get going? Do you always start with the first thing that you wrote down on the list? Probably not. Sometimes you go down and say, well, that's an easy one or two. I'll get those knocked off and it'll get 2 out of the 10 things off on my list. Well, I had an opportunity in my career a number of years ago to work with the Hilton organization, the Hilton at Short Hills in Short Hills, New Jersey. And I worked with a gentleman. He was the general manager of that facility. His name was Eric Long. And Eric said something to me I think was pretty important. Eric used to say, Terry, don't do, get done. And I would encourage you and I would invite you to think about that for a second. How many of you know somebody that's running around and they're busy doing this and they're running over here and they've got errands doing here? And I'll tell you, whether they work for you, whether they're your friend, your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife, but they are busy. I mean, they are just absolutely no time to do anything, no time to slow down. They are always on the go. But when you grab a hold of them by the shirt collar and you say, now, John, sit down. What exactly did we get done today? What exactly did we accomplish today? What exactly were the results of the day? They say, well, I'm working on this and I got this project I'm working on and, we're about in the middle and I'm over here working on this and I got this idea. I've got this idea. A lot of people got ideas. If you got a good idea, why are you talking to me about them? Why aren't you getting those ideas in practice and getting them done? You've heard me talk about the difference between knowing what to do and doing what you know, and using the illustration of Simon Says. A lot of people out there know what they have to do, and that's what you just did. You put together a to-do list. You know what you got to do. The question is, do you have the discipline in order to get it done? Can you cross something off your list and say, I accomplished that? I'll tell you a funny thing I found myself doing sometimes. This is a while ago. I had a to-do list, and what would happen is I'd get distracted and I would do a couple other things other than the to-do list. And I looked at my to-do list and I said, well, I did a couple things that weren't on my to-do list. And then I would write them on my to-do list just so I could cross them off and have that sense of accomplishment. I said, I want to get credit, I wanted to get credit on my to-do list because I wrote them right down. I had a guy I worked with in Washington, D.C. once and walked into his studio, and he was the manager of that particular club. And his sales associates were supposed to make 100 calls, and they were supposed to set 10 appointments a day, and that wasn't happening. And so I walked over to the master appointment book, and I looked at that master appointment book, and I said to this gentleman, I said, Mark, why do you think, what's going on here? We're not getting the appointments. We're not making the calls. And he looked at me, and he shook his head, and he said, I know. Well, how many of you know that you should be doing something on your to-do list? You need to know that you got to be getting results, but you just don't get it done. You ever find yourself saying to yourself, I got to get that done. And then what happens is you've got 3 or 4 things that from today's to-do list. And what do? You take those and you move them over to tomorrow's to-do list. And then some of those things might get moved into the next day and the next day. Have you ever gone a week or more where you've seen a couple of those to-dos at the bottom of the list, but they just get procrastinated on, further and further and further? You see, when you're thinking about getting things done, you have to have a little bit of discipline, right? Because if you don't get those things done, you're going to experience pain in some way, right? Probably. Some things could be little bits of pain, little minor paper cuts. Some things could be major pieces of pain that you experience. And you either have 2 types of pains in your life. You have the pain of discipline. You discipline yourself, you keep focused, and you get something done. Or you have the pain of regret. You look back and you say, man, I wish I'd gotten that done last week. I wish I'd have gotten that done last month. I wish I started my workout program a couple months ago. I wish I started eating better a few months ago. And that doesn't happen. But the pain of regret is when you go to the doctor and your blood pressure is up, your cholesterol is up. The doctor says you need to lose weight. You start getting osteoporosis. There's things happening in your body. And you say to yourself, I wish I had done this differently yesterday. I wish I had done it differently last week. That, in fact, is the pain of regret. The pain of discipline says nobody wants to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning. Nobody wants to get up early in the morning to work out. Nobody feels like working out at the end of your day. But that, in fact, is the discipline that you tell yourself and you keep with yourself and you stay committed to that discipline in order to make that happen. A couple ways that you can do things to help yourself so that you can get things done is, number 1, you got to be honest with yourself. Tell on yourself. When I say tell on yourself, if you've got some things that you want to do, share that with a significant other or a friend. You want to lose weight? Share that with somebody that you have confidence or you can trust in. You don't want to tell everybody that, but you might want to share that with someone so that when you see that person, they can say, hey, how's your workout program coming? How's your weight loss program coming? How you doing on saving some money? How you doing on spending more time with your son, your daughter, your wife, your relationships, your mom, your dad? Have you heard from your folks lately? I don't know. All I'm suggesting is you kind of tell on yourself and you tell a small, intimate group of people about some of the things you're trying to accomplish or the things that you want to get done. You can get a sponsor, right? You can get a personal friend to say, listen, I need your help. I do this from time to time. I have a good buddy of mine, a couple good buddies of mine, Rick Spalding, Travis Crawford up there in Kansas and Chattanooga, Tennessee, Big Trav. But the truth is that sometimes when we get together, we all say, let's get on a little workout program. Let's get on a weight loss program. Let's try to drop a few pounds before we get together. And, we kind of talk to each other, we text each other, but we hold each other accountable for some of those things. Sometimes the things on your to-do list are just too many and too much, and your plate is absolutely overloaded. I'm telling you, sometimes you can ask and delegate some of those pieces and parts off of your to-do list. I can't tell you today in technology how powerful the Outlook program is and setting up your calendar and your reminders. You can set some reminders on your telephone to actively do things, alarms and pieces so that you can remind yourself. You can't possibly remember everything, but you can do some little things to get it done. Remember, when you start your day, when you start your week, as you're moving through your life and you want to accomplish things, don't just think about doing, because you could be doing and doing and doing. What you really need to focus on is, how can I get things done? Have the discipline to do it yourself. Don't do it. Get it done. My name's Terry. I'm your friend. Have a great day.